There you go. I'm looking forward to the topic. What is the topic? I don't get to hear till it's time to go. Getting out of the way. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, well, I'm checking to see if we were able to go live. See if we are. Yeah, I'm not seeing it on Facebook yet, but that doesn't mean that we're not there. It said that it was having trouble logging in, so hopefully we're live. If we're not, we're going to enjoy our session with the group we have here, that is for sure. So let's go ahead and get started. Rebecca, it'll either be there or it won't on the live stream, so let's make it happen. What's your topic for today? That's a great perspective, Randy. It's a little bit different than what Rebecca brought to the table, but I think you're right. There's a lot that we can do when we get in the way of some of our team members. I know I've done that for sure. And if we're building a business or even transitioning a business, that's another part of us getting out of the way, getting, out of our own selves and let others take the reign. Good point. So Rebecca, one of the values of our Monday morning calls is we want to teach people how to be successful in life. We want to help people be very successful by giving them the how. So how do we get out of our own way? How do we do that? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There's also things you want to think about when you look at getting out of your way. Obviously, having a goal, you have to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, then there's really no way you're ever going to get there. The other thing is that I honestly believe that you have to have, at a very, very high level, if you're going to be successful in getting out of your own way, is faith. And when I talk about faith, as we learned from the book Think and Grow Rich, the elements of faith are very misunderstood in our world today. It's not just about the concept of a religion. You know, religion is where a lot of people's mindset go when they talk about faith. But let's take a different form of faith. For example, I can see Chase in his vehicle this morning, and Chase has faith that his vehicle is going to start when he gets in it. It's going to move when he puts it into drive. It's going to move him forward. We believe certain things to the point where we don't doubt them. We don't doubt. And that's part of what we have to be able to do, is get to a point when we're pursuing something, getting out of our own way. We believe it so much that we have no doubt that it's going to accomplish, it's going to be successful. And that ties into what you talked about with the goal. You mentioned writing down goals every morning. I recommend 90 seconds. If you just take 90 seconds every morning and write down your goals, write down the most important things to you. Just write it down every morning. And if you can, every night. Take 90 seconds in the morning, 90 seconds at night. What is it, 3 minutes out of your day? Use those 3 minutes, though, to just remind yourself of how important these things are, because that drives up faith. It elevates your faith. And when you have faith that you feel like there's no doubt that you can accomplish this, there's no doubt in your mind that you can be successful. You may not know how. You may not know how you're going to do a certain thing. You may not know how things are going to turn out in the end. You may not know how your business is going to grow to, $100 million, or you don't know how you're going to serve 100 million people. You don't know how you're going to do these things, but that doesn't matter. You have faith that you believe you can achieve it. And when you start out with that faith that you believe it can happen, it helps to get you out of the way. It helps to eliminate the excuses, eliminate the restrictions, eliminate the impossibilities, and start revealing to you the possibilities. And you begin to realize, hey, it doesn't just have to be my way. I need to have a vision of serving a lot of people, and I need to know how to do that best. And a lot of ways, the things I've learned is my ways are not always the best ways. And I'm almost guaranteed they're not the best ways. But when I get other people together, just like the Proverbs say, in the council there's wisdom. And when you start bringing other people in and listening, you'll begin to grow yourself to another level. And that faith, I believe, grows with it. So I think faith is a huge one that we need when we're getting out of our own way. Randy, though, I mean, realistically, and this is, again, I think something that we have to do to get out of our own heads, right? We have to get out of our own space. You know, you mentioned that your business was set up before the kids. Your business was almost like your first child. And the question that I'd ask, and I've asked a lot of coaching clients this, is that a problem? Is that a problem? I mean, we have to remember that we are doing things with our family, for our futures. And if we have that business that is like one of our family members, there's no reason family members can't be a part of it, can't participate with you, can't grow in that expectation. But is that sometimes and maybe what I'm really saying is, are there things that we look at that prevent us from being our absolute best because it establishes some type of a mindset, some type of a paradigm that may restrict or potentially limit our capacity to grow a business or grow success? Is there something to that, in your opinion? Yeah, good. Very good. Very good. Yeah, it's one of the things that we talk about in any of our leadership training programs is it's vitally important that we learn to identify who we are. Who you are trumps what you do. But once you know who you are, then you'll know what to do. I mean, it just follows into the foundations of truth. It's the way nature works. You know, nature understands that, you know, the way things are created, you know, a tree has to do a certain things because it's a tree. It knows who it is. It's not confused in any fashion. And those are some of the things that once you understand, truly understand who you are, then what you do can be adjusted as you go. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. One of the other things, I know we talk quite a bit about business, so I want to make sure that we touch on this, because a business is a very important part of life, and work is a very important part of life. One of the things that I will defer back to, and Rebecca has brought this up multiple times before. One of the things that we really want to be thinking about is the elements we want to be aware of, not necessarily thinking about, but we want to be aware of those that may be hindering our some stuff here. We may be hindering our potential by listening to a lot of the noise in the background. We may be hindering our potential. And those are some of the things that we have to really think into when you think about building your business, and the things you listen to and the things that you adhere to. And we have to be very careful that we're not listening to the negativity that is coming into our lives. And when you think about getting out of your own way, what are the things that we're listening to? What are the things that we believe? And is what we're believing actually true? What do I believe, and why do I believe it? See, one of the prime examples, I'll give you this example. When we talk about growing a big business, I see people quite regularly that struggle with the idea of building a big business. They want to run a small business. They want to find something for themselves to do. They want to do something that is just them per se. And the thing that I've learned is that is one of the fastest ways to get yourself overwhelmed, burned out, away from your family, when you are the one running your own business and you're the one doing it. And the thing that I've found to be a massive misconception is, what is a business? A lot of people struggle with what is a business. And as I've studied very successful people who have built systems and processes and organizations that are very, very successful, they have more freedom in their life than almost anyone else does. And the reason behind that is they have created a business to work like a machine. It's self-functioning. It's self-sustaining. It just needs something that is guided. It runs by a guidance system. And those are some of the things that I've learned in this process of being successful in life. Even really great successful salespeople, they look at their career as they would a business. And they build success based on their ability to influence more people faster at a higher level than anyone else. And those become the top 1% in sales. And the reason that they become so good is they know how to build systems. They know how to put systems together in such a way that those systems are self-functioning. And that's one of the things that we have to change if we're going to get out of our own way, is what is limiting our growth. Not just what is limiting our business, not just what is limiting our success, but what is limiting your growth. A business has to grow if it's going to be successful. A business has to grow if it's going to be sellable, if it's going to be scalable. If it has to, it has to have very specific things in place before a business has value. And those are some of the things that we have to think about, is what do I believe? Why do I believe it? What do I need to be, a higher awareness of? Do I ever have, this is one that really gets me, do I ever have envy or jealousy of people who run more successful businesses? Even though I say I don't, Subconsciously, I do, because they get to do more things, see more things, influence more people than I do, and subconsciously we find ourselves a little bit jealous of where they are. But these are things that, unless you're aware of them or willing to accept them, you can't change them, or you won't change them. And those are some of the things that I've found in business is, what are we believing? Why are we believing those things? And what should I be believing? What should I be looking at to build something that has real value for our family, has real value for community, has real value for our employees, has real value for every life that we touch? When you start thinking like that, you're no longer thinking at a level where it's just about you or it's just about your immediate family. You begin to give up those thoughts so you can start thinking about other bigger thoughts on serving more people and loving more people and giving honor to more people. And I think that is honestly what God has called any good, sound business owner to do, is to build something amazing, because he's not average in any way. He doesn't want us to be average in any way. So when we start thinking about that, how do we really become aware of what is going on around us, our belief systems, what's limiting our beliefs, what's limiting our growth, and begin to dive into how do we change those things? How do we begin to change those things so we can truly, truly build something of high value? And that's something that I believe we have to be aware of if we're going to be successful in getting out of our own way. Yeah, and that's just being very aware. Being aware and accepting the awareness. Being aware and accepting the awareness. I know Brad's on here, and like Brad said, it's a great follow-up to what we discussed last week. We had a lot of good discussions last week with several different people. The big challenge is, though, and it kind of goes back, Rebecca, to what you mentioned earlier, is that goal. And here's the challenge that I would put out to all of us as we wrap this up, and then you can be ready for a wrap up here, Rebecca. The challenge is, what do you desire? What do you desire? What do you desire in your life? And if you don't know what that burning desire is, then how much of your life is just floating through from one day to the next, taking on one day's problems and carrying it through to the next and doing the next day's problem? Do we really have a plan for our life? Do we really have an idea of where our life is going to go? One of my favorite proverbs is Proverbs 16, and that proverb is marked heavily in everything that we do. And in that it says that man plans his ways. You have to plan your way. You have to put a plan together. You have to know where you're going. And then trust and faith that God will direct the steps. Sometimes those steps are forward, sometimes they're sideways, sometimes they back up and they rebuild or they redesign. But we have to know where we're going. We have to have some kind of a plan, some kind of an idea, some kind of a target. And if we don't have that in our life, then we don't know that we're even being guided in a path. We don't even know that we're being guided in a direction. We don't even realize that we're being turned to the right or to the left. We don't realize it when we don't know what we want and we don't know where we're going. So the very first thing, most important thing, is who are you when you hit a certain point in your life? Who are you? Where are you going? What does that picture look like? If you cannot create a target out of that, if you cannot create an image out of that, that's the first step of getting out of your own way. Because if you don't know where you're going, how in the world is anybody else ever going to help you get there? How will anybody ever help you get there if you don't know where you're going? So you have to have a vision. You have to have a future in some capacity planned out. Because if you don't, every day is just a crapshoot, and you don't even know what you're shooting for. So that's what I would land with. Rebecca, go ahead and shut this down for us this morning. No, the only comment I would close with on that, Rebecca, is you're right. You do not have to be an entrepreneur to do these things. You can be an entrepreneur inside of your company. Have your goals inside the company, you can be very, very successful. So, my closing comments.